around the covenant. So in terms of why we do, according to Jewish reasons, why we do a Brit Mila, it's been, going back to page 7 now, Brit Mila usually means a covenant of circumcision, and it goes back to Abraham, which was the founding father of Judaism. It was the first person in history to have a Brit Mila. And he basically promised God that he's going to teach his descendants to serve God, and he devoted to God. And God also gave him a promise that he'll take care of his children, and he'll basically create a blood pact or a blood bond. There are also deeper meaning. There's also Kabbalistic and mystical reasons for Brit Mila. And one is mentioned here, like the number 6 and 7 is basically is the nature, and 8 is the number which is above nature, and the Jews existed in the history is basically something was above nature, which was almost goes against logic. So that's a bond that we have. And also page 9 says some Kabbalistic reasons, or like mystical reasons. The foreskin symbolizes a barrier which prevents growth. So we're basically removing this barrier between us and growth. The meaning of the baby, I guess. We'll talk about it more, but I'm going to mention briefly. So, yeah. So, in terms in Judaism, a Jewish name has a lot of significance. It's supposed to describe the person or the object that it is. What we have just recently had in Sefer Bris is that God brought all the animals in front of Abraham, and he basically, with his wisdom, was able to look at them and describe and give him a name. And then the name was supposed to describe what they are. And what we believe is that also what we name a baby can affect his luck and his future. So it's something to be taken seriously. And the good news is that the belief is that usually God helps the parents to pick a proper name for the children. So that should take away a little of the pressure. Yeah. So in summary, Brit Mila is basically we get a lot of benefits, a lot of medical benefits, and the best time, like I mentioned, is in the early childhood. Newborn age is the best time to perform it, and this is something that's very significant in Judaism. This is something that goes back many years, and a lot of parents have made a lot of sacrifices, especially if you hear stories in Russia when the parents were not allowed to do Brit Mila for their children, and they would go very far extreme to perform the rest of their life and to still perform Brit Mila. One story I heard was a mother that the custom they made was that they would not kiss the baby, so until they would have the Brit Mila, so they would not forget or disregard it. So this boy was not able to have a Brit Mila till age 3. So basically, they finally go in the basement and secretly have a Brit Mila for the baby, and they bring the baby back to the mother, and they hear the mother pass out all of a sudden. So they go they wake her up and will say, "What happened?" It's like, this was basically her first time she was kissing her child in 3 years, because since the baby was born, he never kissed a child because he never had a Brit Mila, because of their strong belief. They wanted to make sure they preserve this. Modern stories also. A couple months ago, I had a mother who was here with her husband in an army base in Fort Irwin, which is about 3 hours away. And then she could have easily got a circumcision in the hospital, but instead they got up and left, drove almost more than 3 hours just to drive here with her husband, with her son and mother, and then they drove back. By the time I called them, it was almost like 7 p.m. by the time they got home, and in the morning they left and they come to LA, and by the time basically they got home, it was 7 p.m. They almost spent the whole day driving, and then and that's because she understood how important it is. When she sent me the first email, she said, I know how important it is to have a Brit Mila. It's very important, and I want to have it on day 8, and I want to have a kosher Brit Mila. And she could have easily done a circumcision in a hospital, but she chose to go a long way and make sure she passes down the tradition to her child.
Right, are there any questions? Both on the spiritual as well as the physical side of it.
Yeah, if you have medical questions also about the procedure.
Is baby able to go right back to work after the procedure?
Yeah, the main side effect.
Mom may not be.
The main side effect is they won't be able to walk for a year.
Oh, okay, well, that's fine. That's understandable.
I guess I'm a little confused. What you talked about was generally what you do medically and as an oil with the cream and the shot, and what's like the standard order you do of like all the
like in terms
pain management?
When what order in terms of the surgery, like the procedure you mean?
Mm-hmm.
So what is that morning going to look like?
So I usually try to I give instructions, sending instructions to the parents beforehand what to purchase. If they choose to go with everything, so if they choose to go with everything, basically we would have them purchase an numbing cream, and we'll have them put it on about an hour before. And when the baby comes in, we'll do the injection beforehand. We'll do the injection before the ceremony, probably like in a private room. And it usually need to wait about 5 minutes anyways, 5 to 20 minutes to work well. And then we'll basically go on the procedure as the ceremony and everything as a routine. And afterwards, they purchase also a cream with the instructions they go. They put on a cream after the procedure on the bandages that they put on. So that helps also with controlling the pain afterwards. And then during the ceremony and then during the circumcision, we use sugar water or grape juice. Most of the time we use sugar water. That's also, like I mentioned, medically shown to relax the baby and help with the pain control also.
It's the baby's version of getting drunk. Medically it is.
Right.
With the sugar water has the effects that we would have the alcohol. It's the sugar and alcohol, but without minus the alcohol.
Yeah, even without the alcohol, it's shown to help.
Bottoms up.
It's a true sugar high.
What's the healing time?
So about 24 hours, they're very sensitive in the area. Mostly when you touch it, in between they usually don't cry. And then you see a dramatic difference in the healing about a day or two. In about 1 week, I would say, probably you see significant healing, which we probably you don't need to attend to it anymore. And but you kind of have a little bit of swelling for about even a month or so. It's very minimal until the skin. Some of the skin will turn almost like a normal skin. Everything will turn as if you won't be able to notice that there was a circumcision. But the swelling I'm mentioning is very, very minimal. It'll go away mostly by the first week.
And how long does the cream usually?
When I use the cream, I use about
A week?
up to a week, yeah. And what it helps also is to prevent scarring.
Oh.
Cosmetically, if you have any cut, if you apply Vaseline or anything to keep it moist and prevent scarring, they'll heal without scabbing. They'll heal with less scarring. So that helps with the procedure.
Do you bring the cream or do you tell that?
No, I tell the parents to purchase.
Why? Is it
Yeah, it's part of the
prescription or no?
No, it's not a prescription. But most doctors don't use it, so it's